Hi, welcome back to our case study series. I'm here with Lisa Hoffman of Total Life Transformation. And Lisa has some really interesting issues we're going to work on in this case study. One is she is just chock full of ideas of what she could do in a business, and she is not sure what to do next. And that's sort of related to another issue, which is how to focus on a business when she has so many other things going on in life with her family and health. And then also on, how to market the services she has. Is it better to sell single sessions or packages? Should she be doing webinars? Should she be targeting certain people? Or should she work with everyone on the planet who has a pulse and some money? And also that big question that a lot of people have with their businesses, blocks around asking for money and making money in their business. So welcome, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Michael. I'm so grateful to have this chance to have some one-on-one time with you. That's amazing. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And thanks for, letting us record this and share this with others, because not only is this going to help you, it's going to help a lot of other people who watch this case study. So let's dig into the first issue you have, which is you have, maybe this is a good problem. You have so many opportunities, so many different things you could do. You mentioned you could do creating your own tools to sell. You could do one-on-one work, kind of coaching or healing. You could do live groups and a myriad of other things, but you're not sure which one to do right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was hoping, yeah.
And then I'm guessing you end up not doing any of them. Is that what happens, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I've just basically been focusing on the research because it's interesting and fun, but I need to be able to have something where I'm creating income from what I've been doing.
Right. So let's work on clearing that. Let's first connect to the light. So I think you know how to do that, but just in case any audience members don't, take your consciousness up a few thousand miles to feel your truth, light, and love of your pure self there, and bring that down through the top of your head, through your throat, your chest, your stomach, your abdomen, your hips, your legs, your feet, and go down, down, down into the earth and down to the center of the earth, and feel the love, support, and unconditional acceptance of Mother Earth. And bring that energy back up through your feet, your legs, your hips, your abdomen, your stomach, your heart, your throat, your head. So now you have light coming from above and below at the same time. And now expand your heart out as big as the room, as big as the building, as big as the city, across the country, as big as the planet, as big as the solar system, across the galaxy, and as big as the universe. So now you have light coming from above and below, and you've expanded your heart, and you're connected to the light. So thinking about choosing what the best next thing to do for your business is, what do you notice in your body when you think about doing that right now?
The biggest thing is probably fear of missing something, because there's so much opportunity and I feel it's all important. It's hard for me to focus on which area is the most important.
So you have fear that you might miss out, or fear you might make a mistake?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest, is choosing the wrong thing, or directing my energy towards the wrong area.
Got it. Any other emotions you notice?
Yeah, constriction around my heart of actually taking that amount of responsibility on.
Got it.
Yeah, and there's something else here.
Yeah, what else do you notice?
Just that I want to close up.
You want to curl up into a ball?
Kind of wants to close up. I'm not even sure Yeah, I'm not even sure what that's about.
Got it. Anything else you notice in your body?
Well, lots of excitement. There's lots of excitement. It's kind of like, looking around at all the kind of shiny things. So
Mm.
there's that too. Yeah.
So this combination of fear of missing out, fear of making mistakes, heart constricted, feeling a big responsibility, closing up, and excitement all mixed together. I want you to answer the next question with the first thing that pops into your head, which will be your intuition speaking. What's the youngest age you felt the same way? And you don't have to have a conscious remembering. Just
Yeah,
what number
that
comes in.
was that was like pre-birth. I wasn't even actually born yet.
Before birth.
Yeah.
Were you conceived?
Yeah.
Okay. And who was there? Obviously, your mum was there, but anyone else involved?
That actually feels like a lot of mother energy.
Yeah. Okay. So let's send light from above and below to that preborn version of yourself and clear this pattern from her. Because she's been passing it on to all the different ages you've had, and you've just been repeating this pattern of having fear of making mistakes or missing out, and constriction, responsibility, closing up, and excitement mixed together. And let's send light from above and below to all the other ages where you had the same experience, emotions, body sensations, and pattern running in your life. That prevented you from taking action to create the results you want. I'm guessing you've experienced this a number of times.
Yeah, when I'm looking, I can see there's many ages, and I'm trying to collapse that all.
Yeah, well, we'll send light to
It's like
all
a
those
lot.
ages, probably in school and work, family, maybe even health.
Oh, there we go.
So let's let all that go. Let's just have a waterfall of light wash it all away. Waterfall so powerful that none of this pattern can resist it. And let's clear any one of your ancestors who had the same pattern on your mother's side and your father's side. Because often we repeat patterns our ancestors had, so we can clear it for them too. And that helps clear for us. Oh, clearing all that. They seem happy to have this healing done for them.
Yeah, a lot of release there.
Yeah. And then let's clear any past lives where you had this pattern. And let's clear it out of any other dimensions you exist in. And let's clear this pattern out of the space you live and work in as well, because you've it's a bit like a ink stain. It's kind of spread around. And from all your family members too. Okay. Well, that feels good. Let's leave that. How do you feel now when you think about picking something to do this week?
Oh, much more calmer and focused. And it would feel much more easy to focus on something and start working
So
on that.
you probably have your own ways of intuiting which option will give you the most profit and joy. Are you clear which one to take, or do you want to talk about that?
That would be great, because I did use your tool, and it wasn't normally when I'm connecting, I just basically connecting right to the energy of my business and kind of going from there. But I really like the profit and joy graph that you had. I
Yeah,
did that exercise, and
great.
it was really enlightening, and it came out
Oh,
very
great.
well.
So when you visualize the future profit and joy coming from doing group training, What do each of those graphs look like to you?
That one is basically flatlined. It doesn't look like there's anything there from
Okay.
that right now. Yeah.
What about working with live groups?
That one looks like it's slowly building, like that it would
Okay.
be more of a long term. So probably not much for the next couple of years.
What about researching your own tools? What does that one look like?
That looks like very spiky, actually. So huge, kind of probably, and it probably seems similar to the way I get the kind of huge download of information. I kind of got to translate it all out. Yeah,
How about working with people one-on-one? What does that look like for profit and
that looks like
joy?
a steady climb.
Steady climb, profit and
Yeah,
joy both climbing.
yeah.
What about something else you don't consciously know right now? What does that look like?
It's really interesting. It's like a bright kind of flash out front, but I can't see it on the graph.
Hmm. What would it take for you to be able to see the graph of this unknown thing?
I have to look at the thing. Okay.
Everywhere you're uncomfortable working with the unknown, let's just release free light and that across all realities. Everywhere you are afraid to know about the unknown, let's clear that with light. Everywhere in your past life and present life you've been punished, tortured, or killed for knowing about the unknown, let's clear that. So I'm just visualizing light clearing that block away. So now when you think about visualizing the profit and joy graph of something not consciously known to you, what do you notice about that graph now?
It matches the researching one of the spikes.
Okay,
It's exactly matching that.
interesting. So
Yeah,
of
good. I couldn't
those,
see it till I looked at it.
yeah, good for you. So of those different options, which one you think makes most sense for you to work on this week?
The one-on-one, and
Do the
then
one-on-one.
probably just yeah, yeah,
Okay. So if you focused on that this week, that will bring steady profits and joy to you.
yeah. It's looking like that. That's just kind of a steady climb, and then the
Hmm.
other two that are matching, it seems like it would be a peak and then a big dip. So it's almost
Sure.
overlaying on the steady one.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really useful because now you know what to focus on. And that doesn't mean you couldn't, you could spend 80% of your time doing one-on-one and 20% doing something else, you know,
Okay.
um, if that called to you.
Yeah,
And
that
you
feels
can,
really good.
yeah, that way you have the steady income and joy, and you also have the opportunity for something big to come along without relying on it.
I'm not missing out because that's where that big feeling of missing out would be
Yeah, because you
was coming
obviously,
from.
yeah. And you can relook at the profit and joy graphs in a month's time and see if anything's shifted. You're a different person in a month's time. The people you know are different. The skills you have are different. So, it's not a one time only thing. And the other thing, I don't think we need to do this on this occasion, but the other thing you can do is if you don't like the way the profit and joy graph look in the future, you can do energy work to shift the graph to be the way you want it to be. So
Yeah, that
that's
was a
another thing.
great tool.
Yeah. So now you're going to focus on one. You said the next issue you have is how should you structure your business? Should you do single sessions? Should you sell packages? Is there something else? So let's look at the profit and joy graph for doing single sessions. And what does that look like to you?
Um, it looks really flat. So the actual trying to sell a single session looks just flat. There's not much going on there.
Okay. And what about if selling some package where you sell 3 months or 6 months or 12 months of
That
sessions?
that that looks like it takes off almost immediately, and it
Mm,
gets up there pretty quick.
okay. And then what about something else that you don't consciously know?
That one is still the spike, the
Spiky,
spiky graph
yes.
over time. Yeah.
So which ones of those three seem like the best thing for you to do?
So the packages would be,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you imagine a list of numbers for the number of months in the package, 1 month, 2, 3, 6, 12. I just pulled those numbers out at random, but,
Yeah.
whatever numbers you're considering. Do any of those look shinier and bright to you and saying, pick me?
Um, Before I was imagining a year, but what came in when you were doing those was 10 months.
10 months. Okay, so you're going to have a 10-month package.
Yeah.
And do you meet with people once a month, twice a month, 4 times a month, 10 times a month? Which one of those stands out?
It feels like 4 times a month.
Meet 4 times a month. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you meet in person or on the phone or some other way?
No, it would be phone or Skype.
Phone or Skype. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what else is in this 10-month package where they meet with you 4 times a month? What would it take to make this a super amazing package that's profitable and joyful for Lisa and effective and joyful for your clients?
A lot more pushing from me than I generally allow people to kind of come. But if I was going to structure something, that would be, where I would be working with someone for only 10 months, there would need to be kind of a start and an end point so that they could get what they needed to get out of that. So it feels like a push, like I would have to push them to be doing something during that time, to be working on
So
their
you'd have some kind of kickoff or visioning session at the beginning to help them get clear
Okay,
what they wanted to create, and then you'd have some kind of wrap up session at the end so they could see how far they'd come and to see if they wanted to
okay,
re-enroll in another package. And
okay.
what
So it
about
actually feels like,
having a half-time thing at the 5-month mark where you check in with how they're doing?
that's a great idea. Yeah, because it's actually, it feels like if it was, in the first month, you'd be just kind of seeing what they were looking for. And then basically like the 12th month, wrapping up and making sure that they've gotten, their value and what they paid for and what they were looking to get,
Yeah,
and keeping myself on track and keeping their goals kind of structured at the 5-month mark. That's great.
great. You said 12 months there. Did you mean 10 or
I
is it
did.
changed to 12?
Well, when you said the 10 with the vision session and the wrap up, it would be more, probably, once you've met with somebody and then got what they were looking for, I'd need to really do some tune-ins to make sure, what
Hmm.
they were getting, what
Okay, so you're
that
going to
guidance
make
that
it
they
a
were looking for.
you'd make it a year, and that would include getting really clear what they want to achieve and get released by working with you in their life or business. And then at the end, you'd help them assimilate all the changes they've made and realize how far they've come.
Yeah. That feels right. It's still coming in at 10 months, but the year thing is still hanging around for some reason. So it
Well,
must be just a bit of,
yeah, I don't think it matters. You just need to get clear which one to pick. Either one can work. So what other components do you want in this package? You mentioned meeting with them 4 times a month on the phone or Skype.
yeah.
Are they able to email with you?
Yeah, so that would be where I'd want to set some kind of clear boundaries on how much interaction I
So
would be having.
are
So
they able to email you once a week, twice, once a month?
I hadn't actually looked into that yet.
Do you
It
want them to
felt
be
more
able to
like a
email
group
you at
thing.
all? Maybe you don't want them to be emailing you. You
No,
work on
actually, I
them in
don't
the
want that.
session.
Yeah,
So
I
no
do.
email. It's all
Yeah.
over the phone. Are there any other things that you give them in this package? Other tools that you show them how to use? Are there other transformations that will occur for them?
Mm. Yeah, so actually I could actually tune in specifically to the person and develop their own set of tools that would be,
Hmm.
the most useful for them, because I found that people will use certain sets or different modalities and if I was tuning into the person, then I wouldn't be using basically kind of anyone else's tools. It would be, kind of things that were specific to them.
Fabulous. Well, that sounds really valuable.
That is
Customized
kind of
tools
cool.
just for them.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about delivery, what's in the package, but, what are the results they would expect? What are the problems and pains they're solving or the gains they're going to achieve? Because really, people don't care about how many sessions a month you do and whether you have email or not. What they care about is the transformation that occurs for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that would probably look like in that first session we were talking about finding out, what it is that they want me to facilitate for them,
Mm-hmm.
and having something that they can look at the end of their term and going, yeah, I accomplished that goal, or I can see how I've grown it during this period and how using that stuff's helped me. And
Okay.
so that they can kind of prove it to themselves in that way.
So that sounds like you've got a good start on this and you can work on what package you want to construct. Let's move on to marketing, because you mentioned you don't target particular people. You work with anyone who's alive and has money and wants to work with you. Now,
Yeah.
I get that you're really powerful and skilled and you can work with anyone. And from a marketing point of view, when you want to attract people, it's much easier if you work with certain people and certain kinds of problems, because then
Okay.
they know that you're going to help them. Whereas if you say, I
Okay.
help everyone with everything, it's not as
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you don't, if someone comes to you, suppose you say, you work with women getting a divorce, or you work with men who are having a health challenge, or you work with business owners who are stuck in getting their income to increase, or whatever the group is. And maybe you target it down, to people in a certain country or a certain state in the United States or whatever, or a certain age range. And you can still work with other people, but that's what you put out as, this is who I work with, this is who I'm an expert with.
Okay. I'm getting lots of resistance right now about that.
Good. How are
Oh,
you noticing
okay.
the resistance in your body and
My
emotions?
body's just closing up, and yeah, it's just closing up of confusion, and then it feels like I would be abandoning people, and yeah, again, almost not wanting to focus on one thing. Um, again,
Yeah. So you have a fear you would abandon people,
yeah, if I was only focusing on
and
one area.
is it a fear you're going to miss out or something, or make a mistake?
Oh, I guess with healing, because it's, when I've done healing work, it hasn't been specifically in one area. It's, and so, yeah, maybe fear of making a mistake, especially with healing. Because it's the person that has to do it themselves, right? I would just kind of
Mm-hmm.
facilitate that for them. So,
Yeah.
I can't really guarantee
So
that they have to do that on their own.
So this is a common resistance people have to picking a
Mm.
niche for their business, narrowing down who they're going to target in their marketing. Do you have a fear that there won't be enough people to buy your services if you
No, there's
select?
lots of people.
Okay.
It's not that.
So you're more afraid that, if you don't serve all 7 billion people on the planet, you're going to be upsetting some others.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. So. Yeah, just that, yeah, leaving people behind and leaving people out and that kind of thing.
So when you
I can
think
feel
of,
myself.
yeah, go ahead. You feel
I
yourself.
can feel myself kind of wanting to come towards one kind of thing, because I know when I be focused and directed, that would be much more powerful for people.
Yeah, it would help people to clearly choose you and to choose you with certainty, knowing that you help that kind of person.
Yeah.
So, and it also helps get the word out that Lisa helps this kind of person with this kind of problem. That's a much easier thing for people to tell their friends about than, hey, Lisa could do anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's true, I'm sure you can heal anything. So let's come back to how you feel. Imagine that you're going to really niche down, and instead of offering your services to 7 billion people, you're just going to pick a few thousand or tens of thousands. What do you notice in your body now?
Oh, my body feels just calm and relaxed, and like that would be very easy to handle.
Okay. So good. Well, that was easy to clear. Amazing what a little absurdity and laughter will clear.
Yeah.
Because really, you can't serve everyone on the planet.
No,
Not in one
I
lifetime, I
recognize
don't
that.
think.
Yeah.
It would be pretty, not if you're going to do it one-on-one. Maybe if you had
Yeah.
a TV show or something, you could reach more people. If you're doing it one-on-one, you really can only, and you're doing a 10-month package with people, you really can only probably work with a dozen people a year or
Yeah,
something.
it's not looking like what I was looking at before, and I hadn't looked at working with just such a small group
Yeah. And
before.
if we'll talk about money in a moment, but, if you worked with, say, 12 people for 10 months and that was your year, and you figure out, I don't know how much money you want to make, but let's just imagine you wanted to make $100,000 a year, and you can have any number, then, that's $8,000 a person times 12, or 8,000 some change. So that's one business model that would produce that amount of income. And you'd be
Okay.
delivering enormous change and transformation for them. Or you can play with the numbers. You could decide, I want to adjust things and work with 20 people, but I'll cut down the amount of time I need to spend with them so I'm able to do that, and charge less. Maybe you only charge $5,000. I don't know.
Okay.
You can play around with it, and you can look at your profit and joy graphs, or look at other ways to get intuitive information to decide which one's going to bring you the most profit and joy.
Okay.
So
Feels pretty good.
do you have an ideal target client and problem in mind, or is something coming to you right now that will bring you profit and joy and that you can help people with?
Well, what's coming in really strongly is brain function.
Okay. So people
But I
who have
hadn't thought
issues with
about.
their brain function.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that actually as doing that kind of
And
work before.
how does that show up for them? Whoops, I'm hearing a lot of crackling at your end.
I'm sorry, I just flipped a paper over.
So how does that brain function show up for them? Are they not able to speak? Do they have trouble thinking clearly? Why is their brain function an issue for them?
I've got a lot of resistance coming up here.
So let's flood that with a waterfall of light. What will it take? Everywhere you don't want to know what work you're going to do in the world, let's release free light across all realities. Why don't we ask one of your angels to come in and give you some help here? Just hold your hand out and ask one of your angels to come in front of you and ask them for a gift that will help you, clearly knowing what work will bring you joy and profit in this business. And what do you notice in your hand?
It's a small box.
And what does that box mean to you?
It's saying it's getting really emotional. It's saying it's the gift of life. So kind of the information that's coming in is working where brain function has been damaged, with like, so basically what's coming in would be working with parents of special needs children where they've had damage to their brain function, but supporting the parents and giving them tools so that they can maintain really that long-term, tools to manage that type of stress, and where they can help their child and where they can recognize the growth and things like that. That's kind of what's flooded in right now.
Wow, that's amazing. How powerful. And
It's
what an amazing need those parents have. They had a child and their child has some brain issues and they want to help them, but they don't know how. And you're able to help them and help them to, learn stuff themselves. That they'll have custom tools to help them with their child and to help themselves to deal with any stress of that situation.
yeah, that's quite an overwhelming surprise because I
Good.
didn't think it was going to be anything related to that.
And how old are these children? Are they babies or toddlers? Or...
Just up to probably, very young children to about school age, till about 10 years old. It's
Great.
feeling like.
And are they in a particular state in the United States or a particular country in the world?
No, that's kind of worldwide.
Worldwide,
It's just,
okay.
yeah.
And anything else about the parents?
Well, just that they're very, dedicated and loving and looking for help or support or new ways of managing that amount of stress, that amount of emotion, that amount
Mm-hmm.
of where their child won't fit into kind of
Mm-hmm.
the box, and where they can kind of separate out a lot of those issues from, giving their child the best opportunity based on the way that their child's brain functions, because I can actually look at the parent and the child and, support that relationship between them. I can do healing work for, either area, and, support the parent in managing those emotions and giving them tools and motivation to kind of help them along because through that process.
Mm. Have you ever helped someone in that kind of situation already, or?
I actually have two special needs children that I'm wanting to adopt out of foster care.
Wow.
Um, so I kind of have firsthand experience with that, and also with when I was doing healing work,
Wow.
working with people's brains and healing them. So I know that that's available. I didn't actually ever look at this as something that I would be focusing on or doing for work or in that area at all, actually, until just now. So, and I've been doing this for several years.
Wow.
So
So you
I'm quite
can,
overwhelmed right now.
yeah, well, that's good because it means it's powerful for you. So can you
Yeah.
write like a testimonial about, how you've helped in that kind of situation already?
Um, yeah, I guess I could, just, having that firsthand experience of being a parent. And so there's actual practical experience.
Mm.
Um, but also with using that intuition and that healing, because I use it, all the time for my children in finding out what's wrong and when there's communication issues and things like that, or reading situations and knowing what the best route to go is, in addition to actually doing the physical healing of their bodies and their brains. Um, that feels like I could market myself in that way of where I could kind of put that out there. That, you know, I'm not just doing intuitive work in that area, actually, you know, I'm kind of on the ground in that area as well.
Great. So you could write down what kind of results people might see, and the problem. You also understand the problem and pain that they have, you know, when they couldn't do anything. So both of those would really help convince people to have a, you know, an introductory session with you to see if there's a good fit.
Yeah.
Great. So shall we move on to making money?
Yeah, because what I've come up now is that there's so that just was like, oh, well, how can you charge people with special needs children to help children and helping children and that kind of stuff. So there just came up another huge wall about charging people for doing something that, you know, you feel like you should be doing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Kind of
Okay, so I want you to think about charging these parents with special needs children. Let's
coming up
play.
as distasteful.
Yeah, well, let's play around with some different money amounts. So just imagine you're doing this 10-month program and all you charge them is $1 for the whole 10 months. How does that feel to you?
No, it doesn't feel good because I'm not supporting my family or respecting myself or
But does
my
it feel
abilities.
distasteful to charge them $1 for 10 months of intense coaching and customized tools for them?
No.
How about $100?
No.
What about $1,000?
No.
$10,000?
There's some resistance about that.
How about $7,500?
That actually feels pretty good.
Okay, so you have resistance. So you don't have resistance to charging money to parents who have special needs children to help them dramatically improve their situation. Your resistance occurs somewhere between $7,500 and $10,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some work out of the book on that. I got up to about a 7 at about $8,000. So
Great.
So I did that.
So you got to a 7 out of 10 discomfort level when you bumped up your fees to $8,000.
Yeah, for a yearly.
For a year or 10-month program.
Yeah.
Good. So you can charge $7,000 or $8,000. You can make a good living doing that. You can feel good about doing it. And if you want to, you can clear blocks you have to other amounts.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's imagine you charge $10,000. What do you notice in your body thinking about
Just
charging
resistance
that?
and I've switched from being empowered to feeling like I would be taking advantage.
So taking advantage is a thought. I'm curious what emotion occurs for you. Is it shame or fear or anger or some other emotion?
It would be shame because it involves helping people and helping people with you know, disabilities. So that would bring up a lot of shame.
Okay. And what do you notice in your body? What physical sensations do you notice when you think about charging $10,000 for a year or 10 months or whatever the program is?
Just closing up and closing inward.
Anything
else?
Kind
of curl up into a ball. A bit like a bit of like stomach nervousness.
Yeah.
and chest tightening. My heart actually wants to close up against myself.
Wow.
That's what it's saying.
So I'm going to ask that question again, and I just want the first answer that comes into your head, whether you know consciously the age or not. What's the youngest age you felt the same way, feeling shame of taking advantage of others, closing up, stomach, nerves, chest, heart closing?
That's coming up as one. Initially, it came up as pre-birth, but the 1 years old, when you finished the whole thing, this came up.
So, well, let's clear both those ages by sending love and light from above and below to your 1-year-old self, feeling shame, and your pre-birth self. Let's clear that pattern with a waterfall of light. And let's clear any other ages you felt the same way, that you're not supposed to receive for helping others, whether that receiving was money or something else. Everywhere it's not safe, right, and good for you to receive, let's clear that. Let's just see light clearing that away. And let's clear all your ancestors who had the same issue about receiving for helping other people, and your past lives where you had this issue, where you were told you were a bad person for being paid for helping others, and that you'd taken advantage of them. And let's clear everyone. You were the person who was being healed for money by someone else, and you felt taken advantage of, and you accused the other person. And let's just pull out any psychic debris you have in your energy body and any cords you have with other people around this issue. I'm just imagining a vortex of purple light surrounding you and also swirling around inside you, cleaning all that out, sending it to the earth. And I still feel something in your stomach, so let's just pull that out. What would it take for all your chakras to be their ideal, happy versions of themselves? And you to be a powerful spiritual being with a human body. Who gets paid well for what she does, helping others. And gets paid joyfully and gratefully. So now, what do you feel now about receiving $10,000 for helping someone out with this kind of issue?
It would feel really good, because if I could get the kind of help that I know that I can give, if I could get that for $10,000 to help my children, I would be stoked, because I know what I can do. So I know what I can offer, and I know being on the other side and needing help, and that's actually what got me into all of this was was my children. So yeah, and looking for ways to deal with all of that, and actually even coming up above being told that, oh, this isn't going to happen, or that is, impossible, and impossibilities and things like that. I know that that's not the truth. So being able to offer that to someone else, that's huge.
Great. Yeah, I mean, just look at it from their point of view. They have this incredible pain with their child has brain function disorder. They don't know quite what to do about it. They've tried a whole bunch of conventional things and maybe some other things. And you're providing transformation that helps their child function better and reduces their stress. And it's a lifetime change. This isn't like a 10-month program. You're giving a lifetime permanent change to someone, and they're probably not just thinking about bringing up this child as they grow older and become teens, but they're thinking, well, what happens when this child, my child's an adult? What happens when I die? How will this child cope?
Yeah.
And you're going to solve that for only $10,000. What a deal. And
Yeah,
you're not just,
it's huge. It's
it
huge
is.
stuff.
And you're empowering them to have tools to be able to, help out themselves.
Yeah, to carry on, because it's tough work, and then the child needs that parent, and depending on that parent, and it's it can be a real big energy drain.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Well, great. So we've covered all the things we talked about, from, not knowing what to focus on, whether to niche down, and, resistance over making money by helping people. So how do you feel about your business now?
Mhm. Oh, I feel absolutely solid, and just kind of feeling pulled towards that, and looking at the best way to kind of build that, so that I can present that to the people that are going to be looking for that.
Well, what an amazing shift you've made, Lisa.
Wow, Michael, this is I'm absolutely blown away. I was not I was not expecting this to come up whatsoever. I thought maybe, this kind of one-on-one kind of business personal thing, and kind of building something with people for a year, and I'm completely, shocked at this coming up, or that this would be where it wanted to go. And I just feel incredibly solid and stable and clear, and just like, okay, well, this is what we need to do now. Let's get it done, kind of thing. And yeah, wow. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing these issues and being willing to clear them for yourself and others. And if people are interested in learning more, my website is intuitiveleadershipmastery.com, and you can find the book of the same title there. And I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from you on what shifts you notice in your business having made this energy change.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm just reinvigorated. I feel very clear and direct. And although it was, a complete surprise, it feels just perfect. So
Great.
thank you so much for
Okay.
all of your help, and your wonderful book, which is, it's just it's so amazing to have all those tools, right at your disposal. So thank you for bringing that forth for everyone and sharing that. I'm so in appreciation that you did that. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Okay, bye.